Hi guys, it's Derin here and welcome back to my channel, or if you're a new viewer then welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to be filming today's video because I haven't filmed a study video in so long and know how much you guys have been requesting them in the lead up to exams. So your requests are going to be answered today in this video where I've put together my top 5 study tips for exams which actually work. You know, not those study tips that are just like, use flashcards, highlight your work. These are some tips that I know really work well for me, so I wanted to share them with you guys in today's video. But before getting started with the video, if you are a new viewer, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. I'm actually going to be filming a ton more study videos for you guys very soon because I know how much you guys are requesting them, so definitely make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and that my post notifications are on so that you don't miss an upload. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump straight into the video. Acronyms are one of my favourite ways to memorise information because it makes it so much easier to remember what you want to talk about in your exam. What's amazing about them is that they're super easy to create, so if you have an essay plan for philosophy for example and you want to talk about 9 different topics, how you form an acronym is by highlighting the first word of every bullet point in your essay plan. So for example, if the first bullet point is talking about Aristotle, you just highlight the A and then go on like that. Then once you've highlighted all of the first letters of your bullet points in your essay plan, you then put them all together and form a word with them. And so once you have placed all of the first letters of your bullet points into a word, you then go ahead and find a way to remember that word. And when doing this, you can get super creative with it. I remember doing my A-levels, I was doing the absolute most with my acronyms to help me remember essay plans. So I think when I did biology, I made an acronym like even Kirsty goes to Nando's although she's vegetarian, something like that. I was referring to my friend Kirsty, but it was something that was creative and allowed me to remember the facts. Honestly guys, it is such a helpful and beneficial tip that I 100% recommend, especially if you are doing essay subjects and want to remember your essay plans, but also if you're just looking for ways to remember a sequence of information. For example, if you're trying to remember the carbon cycle or the nitrogen cycle in biology, then you can use acronyms to help you remember the sequence of the order. So when you walk into an exam and that specific essay comes up that you've hopefully planned for, what I always do is just jot down the acronym that I made up, write that all down onto a piece of paper, and then beside the letters put what I actually wanted to talk about and use that as an essay plan in the exam. Tip number 2 is something that I think is so important when preparing for your exams, and that is actually allocating what specific topics you want to cover each day. Now, it's very easy to say that you're going to revise physics, for example, but the physics syllabus is so broad that you actually need to pinpoint what exact topic you want to cover that day. I personally did this manually, which took quite long, so I literally went through all of my textbooks, counted how many bullet points there were, how many days I wanted to complete my syllabus by, and then kind of divided it by that. So when I was doing economics, for example, I would cover like 5 topics a day so that I'd be able to complete the entire syllabus in like 13 days, for example. It was super effective, but as you guys can probably imagine, it took so long for me to go through and organise that system. But you guys are in a really lucky position because HarperCollins Publishers have released Let's GCSE in a Week revision guides, as well as practice test papers to help you with your exams. So at the start of each revision guide, when you open it up, it basically has a revision planner which breaks down each essential topic into 7 days, which is literally incredible. They sent me over some textbooks to read, and honestly when I received these I got so jealous because this is exactly what I was looking for when trying to revise for my GCSEs. I actually remember my friend using one of these like a day before the exam and I only discovered it then, and I literally was so annoyed because these are such great textbooks. So to give you an idea of how it works, if you look at day 1 for example, there are 7 topics in total, and then alongside the topics just have the page numbers, so you just open up the pages and begin revision on those. And then at the end of each page that you study, there are practice questions at the end as well as exam practice questions for you to get through to test how well you've absorbed the information and get good preparation for the exam itself. I think that these features are so amazing because when you revise, it's so important to test yourself afterwards to see how well you've learned the information and also get an idea of what kind of questions related to those topics they ask in the exam. exams. So I'm literally obsessed with these revision guides. I think that they're so great, and if you are sitting the new 9 to 1 at GCSEs, I would 100% get my hands on them. I have a few ones here. So this one is the biology one. I also have chemistry and physics, and all of these ones are to be completed in 7 days. But I also have a combined science textbook that I received to check out, and this one you can actually complete in a week or in 2 weeks. So if you don't have that much pressure to finish all of your content within a week, then you can also stretch it out into 2 weeks, which is also really good. So I would 100% recommend these revision guides if you're sitting the new 9 to 1 GCSEs. I'm honestly so impressed with them and love how clear and informative they are, as well as the fact that they give you questions to prep you for the exams. So if you guys are interested in this range or their amazing practice test papers that they also offer, I'll link on screen as well as in the description box down below. They're also offering an amazing giveaway opportunity for one lucky person to win some of the revision guides. So if you would like to enter that giveaway, just make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and leave me a comment down below saying your favourite subject. I'll have all of the details regarding the giveaway in the description box, but the rules are super easy to enter, and I would 100% encourage you guys to, because these are some pretty good textbooks to get your hands on. On the topic of practice papers, tip number 3 is to do as many practice papers as possible. Now, I know that if you're doing the new GCSEs or the new A-levels, it can be really frustrating because there's not actually that many resources available. Trust me guys, I was in the same boat as you. 2 out of 3 of my A-levels were the new A-levels, so I literally had no practice papers to revise from. But don't let that discourage you, because even though the syllabus has changed, many of the questions and the topics that you learn are the same as the previous syllabus. So I would highly recommend just doing as many practice papers as possible if they're on the same exam board as you. Even though they're not the same, they still are really helpful in your revision. By the way guys, please bear with my lighting. I'm using natural lighting for the first time, and like, this is just not working out. Every exam board publishes their past papers on their website, so they're super easy to find. Along with past papers from the old exams, they also always release sample papers to do with your new exams. So if you haven't already done those, I would definitely recommend practicing those as well. But honestly guys, don't be discouraged that there's not that many past papers if you're doing the new exams, because you can still practice through so many different ways. Another amazing thing about past papers are of course the mark schemes, because they provide you with the exact answers that your examiners are looking for. As well as doing past papers, it's also really important to mark your own past papers so that you're able to see how marks are allocated on the mark scheme and what words examiners are specifically looking for and what words they are rejecting. This is something that is so important, especially in subjects like biology. I remember they were so fussy with their mark schemes. They wouldn't accept one word even though it was basically another word. They were really fussy about what they accepted, so familiarising yourself with the mark schemes is such an amazing way to revise and ensure that you're going to score the highest marks on exam day. Tip number 4 is probably my personal favourite, and that is to watch your revision. Luckily, we are blessed in a technological generation where pretty much everything is on the internet, and so one thing that I love to do when revising or learning a topic is to watch my revision. Once I've made physical notes using like pen and paper and a textbook, what I like to do is to go over the topics through watching a video or listening to a podcast related to that topic. I find that it's such an effective way for me to absorb information without me like physically having to do anything except from listen. And so I find that this just makes revision so much more chilled and so much easier, because once you've already written the notes, the topic's kind of already like in your head. So when you listen to it, it's just kind of increasing the repetitions of the topic and helping you to remember and memorize it further. Another reason why I love to watch my revision is because the person who I'm watching might explain it in a different way to my textbook or to my teacher, and I might actually find that that way is better adapted for me. So it just gives you different perspectives and explanations on a topic which you could find are actually easier to remember than your current revision material. And it also just allows you to absorb information whilst you're getting on with other things like going on a run or doing your makeup. It allows revision to be a lot more chilled out, yet you're still absorbing information. There are loads of different platforms for you to access information, but honestly guys, I use YouTube most of the time. Lots of videos may not be related to your specific exam board. Most of them are relevant to your exam papers, so they are still really beneficial. I would 100% check them out. finally, on to tip number 5. This is something that I did heavily throughout my GCSEs and for my biology A-level, and that is to get into study groups and study with other people. Now, a quick disclaimer with this tip is that when you form a study group, I would only recommend doing it with people on the same wavelength with you, in the sense that they're equally as motivated as you. You all kind of want to get top A star grades or top 9 grades, 7, 8, 9 grades, however that system works, rather than doing it with like your group of best friends who one person wants to just pass it, another person wants to get an A star, because then you're kind of just on different wavelengths and it can also just like encourage you to chat. So when forming a study group, I definitely recommend doing it with people who want to achieve similar grades to you, people that are just as motivated as you. And whilst this may not necessarily be your best group of friends, I'd still recommend forming one anyways, because they are so helpful when revising for your exams. So the reason why I love study groups is because it brings together everyone's information from their own personal revision. So I might have been revising from like this textbook, for example. My other friend may have been revising from a different one. My other friend may have been revising from revision notes from the internet. So when you come together in a study group, you're able to all share that information, and what usually happens is that you find out new information that your textbook may not have necessarily provided, and vice versa. So it just helps to make your revision a lot more conclusive and wholesome. Study groups are also great because if you have any queries about any topics, or if you have a certain weakness, it's likely that someone else in the group is really strong in that topic, so you guys can help each other out. And likewise, if someone has an issue and you are really good at it, then you can teach it to them as well. And I also actually find that when you teach things to other people, it's such a great way for you to kind of revise as well, because you're going over the topics, and when you can explain something to someone, it means that you fully understood it. So I just personally think that study groups are just such a great thing to do in the lead up to exams to try and get the best grades possible. One thing I want to quickly slide in though about study groups is that I would probably recommend only forming them once everyone has completed their revision notes. So I actually don't think my study group started until about 2 or 3 weeks before our exams. I'd probably start it like just a month maximum before your exams begin, to ensure that you guys have fully understood the topics that you're learning first, rather than getting together and all sharing your revision and confusing yourselves. Only do it once you have finished your revision and you just want to consolidate everything and go over it. But yeah, those are my top 5 study tips that I believe are really helpful when revising for your exams. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would absolutely love if you could let me know in the comments down below. I love to read you guys' comments and reply to every single one. If you were a new viewer today, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on my post notifications so that you guys see my upcoming study videos. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button whilst you're at it. But that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys so much and wish you all the very best in your exams. See you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah.